Episode 27.
Welcome to Into the 99, guys. I'm one of your hosts, Hope.
And I'm Daniel.
And it's just the two of us today.
Yeah, we got a pretty bad snowstorm down here, around 20 to 30 centimeters.
Classic Canada.
Yeah, classic Canada. Everyone's snowed in. People didn't really feel like driving too much. So a little bit of a rain check this weekend, but we're still doing it.
Doing it to them.
So today we're talking about a subject that's actually not too bad to discuss with the two of us because it was something we actually went through together.
Mm-hmm. This is how to welcome new players to Magic the Gathering. And as I'm sure, longtime listeners have deduced, I'm a relatively new player to the game. I think I've only been playing for about 3 years now.
Something like that,
yeah, but not too long. And Daniel's been playing for basically his entire life. And
since the dawn of time.
Since the dawn of time.
Hope started playing basically right around the Ixalan block when I got back into building commander decks heavy.
Yeah. Well, because when we first got together, I remember Daniel was playing Standard.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I...
Standard and Vintage.
Yeah. And your girl couldn't be bothered. It was very competitive. I didn't understand the appeal. I was more of a video game girl, not a card game girl. But finally, after years and years, when he got back into Magic the Gathering, started playing Commander, finally convinced me to, give it a shot. And the big thing that got me immediately was the artwork. I thought it was really pretty, and I thought it was really cool as an artiste. So that was really dope. But
yeah, so basically, this episode's just a little bit on how to approach people who haven't played the game. Maybe you have a roommate, maybe you have a girlfriend who you just want to try play the game. Yeah, anything. It's whatever you want to introduce the game to. You could be your parents.
Yeah. Could you imagine? That would be the best.
Yeah, I'd really like my mom to come play with us.
I think that she'd have a lot of fun. I think anybody would have a lot of fun. Every single person that we've ever gotten to play Magic has enjoyed it. So I think that's one thing to really be said for the game, is that there's definitely something for everyone.
Well, I learned a lot about introducing people to the game from the Guru program. I know most people don't know what that was.
I don't.
But it was just a program that Magic gave you basically points for introducing new players. And you gave
how is that like?
You gave people like a little kind of a coupon off of like decks to go buy. And so I would teach you, I would give you this, you would go redeem it. Yeah. And when they got that, a certain amount of points let you redeem for a bunch of like very rare lands.
Oh, fun. Yeah. Like, was it just like associated to like your DCI number?
Yeah, exactly. That kind of a...
Cool. That's actually really fun.
But they basically had like a pretty simple way of like doing it, like a little tester deck, 2 things. And I kind of just built onto that idea when I test it. So I just always put together, for anyone who's never been taught Magic by me or wants to teach someone but doesn't really know how, I find that the best way to do it is to assemble basically a very small red deck and a very small green deck. Basically 15 cards and 15 cards. What you want to do is you want to put things that are like Llanowar Elves, things that are just very, very basic things. Yeah. You want to play the Llanowar Elves deck, and you want to give them a red deck that has some small creatures in it, something that has the sorcery speed, the instant speed, like a lightning bolt, whatever like that. Yeah. And you want to tell them that they can kill your creature or you want to play with basically 8 life. And you want to show them that they can do instant speed whenever they want. Yeah. Sorcery has to be only during their turn when they're not attacking. Yeah. And the creatures have to wait a whole turn. So you start the game off, basically both people play with their hands revealed. Yeah. You, as the person teaching, play first. So you go, I will play a land and I will play this creature. Pass.
You jump at the Llanowar?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You play like a Llanowar or just a generic 1-drop thing. Yeah. They play their turn. They play their land. You explain to them what's in their hand. Hey, you have this card. It says shock. You can do 2 damage with it. You can do it whenever you want, etc. And you just basically teach the game. The fundamentals of the game can be like learned in that small thing. You show them the steps. Untap means to turn things sideways. Tap means to...
turn it the other way.
Exactly. So to use it, you have to tap it. To attack, you have to tap it. Creatures have to wait 1 turn.
Yeah. And that's basically the basics of Magic, if you understand instant speed, sorcery speed, summoning sickness, and how your mana works.
Yeah, the phases basically.
Yeah, and I think that understanding different phases is best explained in that sort of format as opposed to just trying to tell somebody, yeah, so you have your untap, upkeep, draw, main phase, combat, second main phase. Like, it's
Well, yeah, so what you want to do is, like I said, you want to run through that game where you just have you're letting them win, obviously.
Yeah.
All the hands are revealed. Now you say, now let's try it again. Everyone doesn't reveal their hands this time. You let them go first.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that that's got a lot of value. And I think, like, that for me really helps.
Well, the ideal thing is that they'll realize that they can kill you in 2 spells and a shock.
Yeah.
So lightning bolt, shock.
Yeah.
They can kill you with your 8 life.
Yeah.
And you go, oh, you got me.
Yeah. And then you try with a big boy deck. Full-size deck.
Exactly. You learn the basics of that. Then you explain that there's tons and tons of mechanics in the game.
Yeah. One thing, though, to that end is that I would say try to enter it kind of on a surface level. So for me, some mechanics that I thought were very like approachable were trample, indestructible, lifelink even, because I can see that if I'm doing 2 damage, I gain 2 life. Like that's quite simple. Mechanics like madness, where you've got the exile, it's just kind of an odd one. Anything like graveyardy, I think is kind of hard when you're first starting, like dredge. A weird one that Sherman has such an affinity for, like banding. Like that's kind of, I still get confused with that.
Yeah, banding, crew 5, stuff like that.
Storm, where you have to keep track of all of these things that you've done, where you're just trying to figure out how to play.
Yeah, basically don't try to get someone to play your competitive Get Rock deck.
Yeah, like start them off with an elf deck.
Yeah, something nice and simple. Tribal decks are a really good place for people to jump in. They're pretty simple. Akumen is a really, really accessible one because he's got lots of effects on him. He lets people do a ton of different things. He's got lots of tools.
What's Kumena?
He's a Merfolk commander. He's tap and untap Merfolk. He's unblockable. Tap 2 or tap 3, draw a card, and tap 5. I might be wrong with this, but basically he lets himself become unblockable, lets you draw, and puts 1/1 counters on Merfolks, tapping different number of Merfolks.
Okay, I feel like that would be like a decent one, because like draw is a very like approachable mechanic. Unblockable makes you feel super powerful.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, oh, you can't stop this.
And the
train is coming, choo choo.
That's also why I really like indestructible and trample for new players, because like it makes you feel powerful. It makes you feel like you're crushing it. Even like I still feel like that every single time that I get to just absolutely like steamroll over someone. It still feels good. It always feels good. It's exciting.
A 10/10 trample.
Yeah.
But I only have a Findhorn elf.
But that's the thing, right? Like, that's fun. That's exciting. Like, I wouldn't give somebody a Boros Angel deck and be like, good luck.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
18 turns when you have 4 mana.
Yeah. Yeah, like, that's not fun. I remember one of my girlfriends, when we were trying to get her to learn Magic, she just got super screwed with the mana.
Yeah, mana flooded really badly.
Yeah, she got 6. She needed 6 mana. She only had 5. For like 8 turns.
Yeah.
It was brutal.
Oh, and then she also, I was like, oh, I'll give it a try again. It was a blue-white angel deck. Mm-hmm. And then she had 5 blue on deck and 1 white.
Yeah.
So she couldn't cast the majority of the
angels.
So
nasty. So we gave her a green deck after that, I think.
Yeah.
I think we gave her
Azuri.
Yeah, an Azuri deck, so you really go off with the elves. That's one reason that I think that tribal is a really nice, a mono-colored or 2-color tribal.
Yep.
I think is really approachable for new players, because a lot of the tribal cards obviously synergize with each other and have similar effects. So even though there's lots of different cards, especially in Commander, if they're all singleton, there's still a lot of them are doing similar things. So it's a lot, but it's not. You know?
Another great deck to get people to learn with right now is just a simple Golos Gates deck. It's very, very budget to build one. Like, you don't need, like, Circuitous Root's not very expensive. Any of those things that fetch the gates aren't. Golos can fetch the gates as well. You don't need it to be crazy expensive, but you can play a lot of things that allow you to draw extra cards, play extra lands, like Jirapur Ori's not an expensive card, right?
Well, and I think that that's an interesting, different way to learn, because it shows that you don't just win this game by killing someone.
Yeah, exactly. This way you can go get the thing, go get Maze's End. They can see a clearly defined win path with it.
Yeah.
Which is important for a lot of people. Totally. And again, you don't need a crazy deck to do. You could build a pretty budget Golos deck for anyone to get into the game for probably $60.
Yeah, and like I said, like it can be very approachable because like it's interesting to see that different win con,
Well, it's also the nice thing is the deck when you're playing Golos with gates, there's a lot of opportunities for you to go through the deck and see what's in the deck. They get a lot of chances to pick it back up and say, "Oh, like, do I have an answer to this? Do I have that?" But they have a really, really clear victory path that's available to them.
Yeah. It feels very like intuitive. Like this is what I have to do. This is how I'm going to win.
Yeah. I think actually we might do a Golos deck tech coming up soon with both a competitive one like mine.
And an introductory one.
Yeah, just like a basic Golos lands. Because Golos is so fun.
Yeah, Golos is a super neato burrito card. Love him.
Yeah, like his ability to fetch lands and also that he's colorless and stuff. So you can always have access to it. That's why I was going to say that it's so good for it.
Yeah. Because it's 5 color, but it's colorless.
But that's what I mean. You can go through the deck. You can get whatever you need for it really, really easily. You're going to put tap lands in it. It's not going to be difficult things to get. Like you don't need to buy them duels and shocks to play it.
No. Well, and it's one thing to note with making entry level decks and all that kind of stuff. It's like if somebody is willing to learn the game, like why not teach them Commander?
Yep.
Like if you know the basics, like you don't need to like dump them into a standard deck so that they, like you can teach somebody with 100 different cards.
It's also really nice to let them know that, like, short of a random banning, which we nearly never see.
Yeah.
They're always going to be able to play this deck. They could put it on the shelf for a year, come back and play it. They could edit up if they want. But Commander decks that I made 3 years ago are still good. Commander decks, the pre-con Commander decks, are still good. The first Kalia deck, all the cards still playable. Yeah. Extremely fun to get into. A very strong deck even.
Yeah. That's the thing. Right out of the box, still a very strong deck.
Yeah.
Which is pretty exciting. And that's one of the things, too, about Commander that I think is very approachable is that, like, there's always new decks that come out every year.
Yeah, we say that all the time right now, that it's never been a better time to get into it. This year, next month, we have 5 new Commander decks coming up. So, exactly, why not get one of your friends to get into the game? Why not sit them down? It's fun. You don't need anything intensive to play the game, like... No. 2 precons is $60, $70.
Yeah, and 2 precons, it teaches your friend how to play the game, makes them like the game, and then they buy another precon, and then they edit it, and all of a sudden they're coming out every Friday night.
But yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it's just, it's always been accessible to people who've been playing.
Yeah.
And you could always go in and buy them. The game store is very helpful a lot of the time to get in there. But right now, like I said, there's 5 new decks coming out. We have no concept about what they are. They're just going to be related to Ikoria. But then there's another 3 of them coming out later on. There's a Commander draft set that is going to have, if everyone has forgotten, 70 new legendary creatures.
I have forgotten. That's wild.
70 new. 70.
Yeah, so that's very exciting. Like, that's 70 new potential decks.
Yeah. I'm going to build them all, probably. But yeah, I'm pretty excited for it. I think I'll try the draft format. I'm not really a draft player. I like to play Commander, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to buy a box of this set to try to get these legends.
Well, and draft can be really fun, and that's a format that I think new players... I know I really liked draft when I was really new because I liked the random aspect of it. I felt like we're on a little bit more of an even playing field. Like, certainly, obviously, people are better at draft, but like, you have just as much luck getting the cards as I do.
Exactly. I can pull the same things as you can.
Yeah.
It's not hey, check out this deck.
Yeah, well, that's why I liked it when I was really new, and even still, I kind of like it. But, like,
what's that volcano island?
Yeah. What? But like even still, I still kind of like it, especially with like Conspiracy. It's so dope.
Oh, Conspiracy was a very, very fun set to get into. Fun. But yeah, there's right now it is just an accessible time. Why not get people into playing an Eternal format? It's not going to change. I don't foresee a time when people aren't going to play Commander. Like, looking 5 years into the future, 10 years into the future, I don't think people are just going to be like, nah, I no longer want to get together with my buddies and just have a good night playing this game. Well, I'd much rather do this.
Well, because I could see somebody losing interest in something like Standard if they like financially can't keep up with the rotation.
Or they don't like the set.
Yeah.
Sets I don't like come out. It happens.
Yeah. Well, and if you don't like the set, like, you don't play Standard.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's just what it is. Whereas with Commander, exactly like you said, like, you can be like yourself, where you're like a mix of like old and new. I'm very much like, I would say mostly new cards. Mm-hmm. Someone like Sherman plays a lot of really old cards. Same with our friend George that was on last week.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's very, like, it's different for everybody, but everything is just as valid. And
yeah, exactly. You can play whatever you want to play. There's compared to the number of cards that actually are playable in Commander, the ban list is incredibly small.
It's a negligible percent.
Yeah.
It's like Anti and Iona.
Yeah. And Primeval Titans.
Yeah.
Still take it off.
Yeah. But one thing also is, like you said, with kind of playing like the pretend game at first, like, that's something that I also think is really helpful. But even with like a normal deck, you know, not just this like 15 card whatever 8 life deck.
No, that's just to get them to learn and everything. Yeah. And then it's,
but like, I still think that playing like a test game is important, where it's like, you don't necessarily reveal your hand the whole time, but it's like, it's almost like a,
yeah, I have a question about this, can you let me know how it works?
Yeah. Or like, I can show you the card and be like, I don't understand how this works, like I'm not getting the wording, because like, let's be real, like, there are a lot of cards in Magic, and there's a lot of rules that are like confusing, especially with potential interactions that might not have necessarily ever been supposed to happen.
Yeah, I was going to say the rules aren't confusing. It's the interaction with the other rules that are confusing, because there's lots of, like, even like I've said before, the instants and sorceries. I can play instants anytime I have priority, but wait, you have a Teferi on the field. Now I can't. Mm-hmm. Right? I have a Grand Arbiter, so now I can't do it during your turn.
Yeah.
I have 2 mana, but you have Grand Arbiter Augustin, so now I can't play this. A lot of things are just interaction, understanding the board state, remembering triggers for a lot of people. I don't have any issue with it at all. A lot of people, though, really do.
Probably the 2 biggest issues that I had when I first learned was not jumping the gun with tapping mana, and also with playing instants.
Yeah, kind of just doing everything too early.
I would always play instants on sorcery speed, and I would always
playing like Brian with Flash.
Yeah, and I would always use like mana abilities at sorcery speed instead of right before my turn at instant speed.
Yeah, exactly. You know, like, save it up right before you're about to brainstorm.
Yeah. Hope
doesn't know what that is, because Hope doesn't play blue ever.
Yeah, well, blue sucks. Objectively, blue is good, but I don't like it. It's mean. That's just what it is. But the other issue, that issue I had, and I would always miss triggers. So now, like, as I've gotten more experience, obviously, like, you just kind of get more used to it. But also, I used to just, like, kind of right before my turn, I would just kind of run through, like, everything that I saw. Anything that had an upkeep trigger, I would put in one specific spot, and then anything that happened like at the beginning of my main phase or whatever, like, everything I would have like in zones.
Yeah,
I'd remember them.
I always find it interesting when people tell me about that, because they're like, I organize my board a certain way. I have an upkeep trigger. I put a coin on my deck, and like I said, I've just never had any issue. But like, I career-wise as well have just like always like thrived in a more chaotic setting and everything like that. Like, that's more of my
standpoint. Your bread and butter.
Yeah, so for me, everything, being able to look around the table, take everything in, I don't need to remind myself, oh, there is a Howling Mine out, how can I remember this, and I have an upkeep trigger. I'm just like, oh, this is this. Yeah. But it's just very interesting to me to see how other people think.
But like, whatever works. And the thing is too, like, if you're a new player and you're feeling like, oh, I keep forgetting these triggers, oh my god, I suck at this game.
Well, even Sherman's played nearly as long as I have. Yeah. And Sherman the same. He also likes to organize his board state.
So he doesn't forget stuff. Yeah. Like, it doesn't matter how long you played or who you are or whatever. Like, chances are you're gonna like have a system to make sure that you are doing everything that you need to be doing on any given turn.
Yep. Well, and that's in general, Commander is such a casual format.
Yeah.
people aren't going to care. They're not going to be ignorant if you ask. A lot of times, if you do miss something, people are like, oh, I didn't draw for that Howling Mine, guys. Can I?
I'd be like,
go
whatever,
ahead.
just draw.
Yeah.
I don't care.
You know, like it's a pretty casual, friendly
If you're in
setting.
your post-combat main phase and you said that you forgot to draw, like, I'll let you draw. I just don't care.
Yeah, you can't get back to your turn, draw 3, so that you skipped your discard.
No.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't draw for the Howling Mine the last 3 turns, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, no. But, like, within reason. It's same thing when people, like, dexterity tap wrong.
Oh, yeah, I know.
don't care.
Oh, no, you tapped your mountain, not your forest.
I'm
It's
like,
come
you
on,
have
man.
the forest and the mountain.
They got excited. Get over it. But again, it's the same thing. If they're trying to do it 4 turns later to counterspell you,
No.
a little different.
But, like, if it's during the same turn and they, like, tap the mana because they need it colorless, and I just don't care. Like, it's fine.
The end of the day, Magic's an exciting game. It's very easy in an exciting game to get excited.
Yeah.
You've been sitting around sometimes for like a 10-minute turn, you're waiting, and you finally get back and you're like, yes, I am playing this Allison. Hooray.
Yeah, it's dope, and it feels good, and it's fun, and it's exciting. So, like, things like that, like...
It's something to work on. Obviously, like, you should try and know what you're going to tap, what you need for other things. But
like,
at the same time, like, don't...
If you make a little mistake like that, like, I'm not going to penalize you for it. Like,
Try
this is
to not be
a
that
competitive... Like, if you're playing CEDH, which is a totally different game, okay, whatever. But we're not. We're playing with our buddies while I eat Doritos at my LGS.
Yeah, just casual things.
Super chill times. And the thing is, like, there are interactions and rules and potential things that can happen in a game that we, as more experienced players, still have to ask questions about and call over a judge and, like, get a ruling, because, like, we have no idea how it's going to interact. So just because you don't understand something doesn't make you a bad player. There are no stupid questions in Magic, not in my opinion.
I don't know how many times I've said it in real life, but I don't know if I've mentioned it on the podcast. If I had to pay 5 cents every time I went to the Gatherer, I would be bankrupt.
Oh, yeah.
I go and check rules constantly and interactions, and if something's not working, a lot of interactions and common questions can be found there. Just pull that card up and be like, no, it doesn't function how you think it does.
Yeah, like it's probably there. Like, there's even something that seems almost super obvious, but that I never even considered last week, and I even mentioned it a couple days ago, but which is that if you have partner commanders, they each have to do 21 damage.
Yep.
But I thought forever that combined they had to do 21 damage.
Yeah, that they were the commander.
Insane. That's so easy. Especially when you consider that
That was my computer having a meltdown.
It's fine. She's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, we hear you. You're valid.
But yes, no, exactly. If you don't know how that works and functions, and you have an aggressive partner deck,
which I did, because it's Sylvia, Bright Flame, and Corvath. So it's
Hope likes dragons. What a shock!
Whatever. So it's knights and dragons, and the knights give the dragons double strike, and the dragons give the knights haste and flying. Like, it's disgusting. So it goes off really, really, really fast, and that
it is an aggressive deck.
It's super aggressive. That's the whole point of that deck. It has to be. It's Boros. That's all it has going for it. Yeah. So it's super fast. But, like, if I could just kill somebody on, like, turn 5 with double strike dragons, like, that's not fun.
Well, also Corvath and Sylvia both having double strike coming out is pretty rough.
Yeah.
If it counted it up that way.
Yeah, because that's 10 damage off, like, right off the bat with no other buffs, which are super easy to get in white and red.
Hits real hard.
Yeah, it hits super hard. So I did how
20.
much? 20 and then 6. So I did 32 damage to you in one turn. Mm-hmm. Just like that.
Yeah.
It's just too much.
Jacob had to save me.
Yes, of course. I would say one of the most valuable things about becoming a new player is going out to your local game store. And when I say new player, one thing that I really want to touch on is that new doesn't necessarily mean new to the game.
Yeah, that's true. You don't have to be new to the game to be the first time out to a game store and stuff. You could have just played at your kitchen table for the last 10 years.
Yeah. Well, and it can be, you might just be new to the city. You might be new to the format, which is also a form of
or country.
newness.
We have one of the guys that we play with regularly moved from the States not too long ago.
Yeah. So, like, he didn't know anybody that played Magic up here, obviously, because he's new to town, you know? So coming out to the LGS can like not only garner a play group again, which is excellent for you, make some new friends, and also it just adds a level of something to look forward to every Friday. Like I know for me, like I can be having a really bad week, but like when Friday hits, if I know I'm going out to Ogre's Den, it's just makes everything a little bit better.
Yeah, I honestly think we have like the best store to play at.
Yeah, we're really
I may be a little biased, but it is a really, really good store. We have a huge commander group. There's, between 60 to 80 commander players that regularly go out there every week. Lots of commander nights. We do Monday nights, Friday nights. People go out and play on Saturdays, Sundays.
Whenever.
There's a lot of commander games.
I feel like you could message on one of the social media groups for them and be like, is anybody playing commander right now? And at any given time, there's going to be at least 2 people there.
Yeah,
so,
or people who are like, I'm not, but I will.
I'll go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's one thing to say, like, with regards to that guy that just moved up here. Like, if you see somebody that you don't recognize.
Yeah, you've never seen them, because some people do have a problem coming over and saying hi, right? Yeah. So ask people if they're waiting for a game, if they're waiting to come in. And
well, especially if you see like a group like ours where it's a really big commander group that goes out. And at this point, I feel like most people kind of know everybody and like, so it's very intimidating to like walk up to a group of 10 people that seem like they're like best buddies, you know? Like it's just intimidating. Like I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, exactly. To kind of just go and, hey guys, can I jump in this game? It's not something everyone's got the skill set to do.
Well,
I've had the owner of our local game store just say, hey, like, what kind of stuff do you like to play? And he's just mentioned like, oh yeah, like you guys can jump in with these guys, because he knows that we'll play some more casual, easy stuff to go light on people. Or like if people have come on and been like, do you have any more like competitive players? He will point them in the direction of my brothers and I generally, and we'll sit down.
Well, because then you guys can ramp it up, right? Because like often you won't play anything competitive.
Yep.
Because it's not really the point.
But I bring the dark magic with me.
Just in case, if somebody wants to bring the noise.
Yeah,
we'll bring the noise.
Sometimes the noise must be brought.
Get out of here.
Sometimes it's time to turn a game up to 11.
Yeah, I totally get it. Spinal Tap and whatnot.
I get it. You blow my islands up. You're having fun.
Yeah, it's cool. Armageddon, whatever.
But no, yeah, like it's make sure to, if you do see people, kind of welcome them into it and stuff. Like I said, our play group, and I know a lot of play groups as well. This isn't just our store. I know people generally, we all like to play Magic. We're all just dorks who want to play cards at the end of the day.
So bad.
Like it just, all we want to do is play cards. The more people we can play cards with, the better. I personally like playing big games. Not everyone does.
Yeah.
But I'll let a 6th or a 7th jump into a game.
Heck yeah! As long as you don't mind me standing up to see what's going on, because I'm the ripe height of 5'3".
Yeah, Hope didn't even know what I was playing the other day.
No, I had no idea. I thought 100% thought he was playing a different deck. Well,
different colors.
I think that says more about how well you were playing.
My deck was not going off that game. I'll tell you that.
But like to that end, it's the community at your LGS can make or break somebody's willingness to come back to the store or even come back to the game.
Well, one of our friends was telling us that he had just extremely bad experiences at LGSs, and that it's only recently that he's started coming back out, and now he's having a good time. He's interacting with lots of players. They've even started like playing like online games and stuff. Like it's awesome to see that he's finally been able to meet these new people again and come back out, because for a long time, like he said, he just didn't have a good experience. People weren't very nice when he came out, and yeah, they just made him feel pretty unwelcome, and took a long time. It was a very big step for him to come back.
Totally. And like I would say that we're really lucky in having him back in the community, because I think he is a great member of the community.
Yeah.
Like I think I think that everybody brings something different to the story, and like I would be heartbroken to see somebody gone.
Yeah, like it is very fun to see people come out and want to play. Like it's, like I said, that's where I interact with a lot of people. I look forward to playing on Fridays.
Yeah. Well, even like this podcast is.
Yeah, we made it. Sherman and I met through just playing there and stuff. Yeah. The same with me and Brian. The same with Hope and Brian and all them.
Yeah.
I look forward to it so much that I generally work a 10 to 12 hour overnight before going to play, sleep for an hour and go play.
Yeah, because it's just the best part of my week. And I want to kind of like bring in something a little bit more personal from going to LGS. So when Daniel and I first started playing together, I was super comfortable playing kitchen table Magic,
Which was also, sorry to interrupt, a very strange thing because she played only with me and my brothers generally, which are all like
hyper competitive.
Yeah, so Hope was trying to play Dragon in like CEDH level decks.
Yeah, I mean, it was fine, but like I think that like crash course made me a lot better of a Magic player though, because I had to get better because you guys were not being fun. So let's just call a spade a spade.
It's fair. It's fair.
But no,
things can be two things.
I remember it took probably a couple months for him to convince me to come out to the LGS because I was so honest. Like honestly, I was so afraid of going out because I didn't want to be like the new person that didn't know anything and kept asking stupid questions and didn't know what any cards did and all, you know.
Yeah, you kept saying you didn't think you were good enough to go out yet.
Yeah, I didn't think I was good enough. And like, what a silly thought to have, like looking back on it, you know, hindsight's 2020 because like nobody cares. But it's a real fear, and I'm sure that I'm not the only player that's ever had that thought. Like I know I'm not. So
well, and yeah, like it's just getting out and actually doing it it's really fun in theory, but yeah, if you don't think that you know enough about the game, you're too new, you've only been in a month or two, yeah, it's kind of hard to get out. But yeah. I've never seen anyone ask, "Hey, how does that card work?" and someone be like, "Oh, if you don't know,
you idiot."
Let me tell you, big man, if you have to ask, you can't afford it.
You can't afford it. Look it up. You know, nobody's ever said that. Everybody's just read it or handed me the card so I could read it myself, which is totally fine with me. So
yeah, there's awesome times when I see cards that I don't even know, and I'm like, what does that do? And I'm like,
there's thousands and thousands of cards. Like, of course you're not going to know every single one and all the exact text on every single one.
Lots of times if I see cards that I think are cool, I just ask people, I'm like, do you care if I just take a picture of that? Because that's a thing I'll go and get, and I can look at it later and be like, this was a really cool card to see.
Yeah, and people are totally cool about that. So I remember the first time that I showed up to the LGS, I was super, super nervous. I came in, I brought just like 2 or 3 decks. Like I didn't even bring a full archive. Like I just brought a couple decks. And I sat down at the table. There were like 6 of us, I think. And
yeah, kind of a normal big game.
Basically, right when I showed up, one of the other guys that was there immediately was like, "Oh my God, like, nice to meet you. You look like I've never seen you before. Oh, you're Daniel's wife?" Like, and it was just like, we just became friends, like, right off the bat. And I felt so comfortable. I was like, oh, like, this guy's nice. And then everybody else was also nice. And we just had a really nice chit chat. And then when we started playing, again, like, everybody was super friendly. And even the owner of the LGS, Adrian, he came and sat down and played with us. And
yeah, this was at like 11 at night. We played till 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah. I showed up super late, and they were just like, he came down and sat down and played with us, and wasn't like, I was like, oh man, like, I don't want to play with this guy. I'm like, he's going to be so good. I'm like, this is literally his life, is like games.
Adrian, in my opinion, is one of the most fun people to play with.
Super fun.
The way he builds decks,
he just
very,
keeps
very
everybody
fun.
in line.
Yeah, yeah, he likes to police the fun for sure.
Yeah, well,
but not even police the fun. It's still very fun. He just likes to stop people from like overwhelming the table.
Yeah, he just likes to police specific players so everybody has fun. That's a totally different thing, you know, which I think is awesome. And so that even like added a level of extra fun for me that day because like nobody was going too crazy, and one of the guys was playing a group hug deck, and it was just like everybody was doing their thing. I was playing my Marin deck, same one that we talked about last week.
Yeah,
check out the episode.
Hope sat down. She was seeing a Feldergriff deck for the first time.
Yeah, it was really cool, and I think Adrian was playing a Tesa deck, and that was the first time that I ever saw Martyr's Bond, which is one of my favorite white enchantments.
That is also where I first saw Martyr's Bond, and I have a lot of copies of it now.
It's a grave pact for like every permanent. So anytime a permanent goes to the graveyard, each other player sacks the same type of permanent. So which is very cool.
It's bonkers.
It's 6 costs though, which is kind of a lot, but like
it's bonkers.
I love it. I run it in a lot of stuff, but it's a really cool card. But I won that game, and I shouldn't have, but I think I was able to like gain a life or something, so Adrian couldn't beat me. I don't know. All I remember was that it was like the best feeling ever, because not only did I finally like decide to go out and have fun, then I won. It's like, get out of here.
Well, that's even at the big game and stuff. Like you won in the big game when you came out. Yeah.
And like it's cool because I'm so used to being like, as we mentioned, like I'm so used to being like the newest player. I'm so used to being like objectively like probably like the least like relatively least skilled, because I'm like not, I haven't been playing as long as you guys play way more competitively and whatever. So like I'm not used to winning a lot at home.
Yeah.
You know?
Cool. Well, yeah, like especially like Connor's sitting there playing his try to win in turn 2 Emery. Because of it, I'm playing a barrel Chief of Compliance deck. Jacob has Zur out.
Yeah.
And then there's Hope. She's like, well, I was going to try this Boros deck, I guess.
I was going to try to run Kolebna.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're going to try to run the Kolebna Giants.
That's fine. You know, but like, which is fine at home, whatever. I think it, like I said, I think it lends a lot of like practice to me, and I think it makes me a lot better of a player, like, overall. But
I joke around with Hope all the time, and whenever I want to play competitive games at home and have no one else to play with, I just ask if she wants to play Big Boy Magic.
Yeah, it's very funny. And I do, and it's fine. Sometimes I beat you.
Yeah, you beat me with my own Unoth deck. It hurt.
It's really fun.
He was so big, so large, so green.
But, you know, that's... Like, to me, anecdotally, like, even when I was mentioning that story to Daniel the other day when we were talking about maybe doing this episode, I got a little bit emotional, which I feel like is kind of whatever, but it was just, like, a very big deal for me because I never thought that I would have such, like, an emotional attachment to playing Magic the Gathering.
Yeah.
But...
Well, like you said, like, you're a little opposite of me. You're not as outgoing and meet strangers-y as me.
No, not at all. And I'm very much like a hide in my basement in front of my sewing machine kind of person, which is, you know, there are two types, I guess. But it was a really big deal for me. Like, it made me really happy to feel like I was like a part of like this awesome community of people, and it's only grown since that day. And that was last year.
Oh, yeah. Well, and it's just the atmosphere really does, like, it does matter a lot and stuff. Hope came out and played that one time, then she didn't come back for a while, and she came back in, and Adrian's, oh, hey, Hope, how's it going? And it just... Yeah.
I remember looking at Daniel being like, why does he know my name? I'm like...
Yeah, because he has a good memory.
I don't know this guy. But it was just nice, you know, just like it felt like I was a part of something.
Yeah, it felt like you were welcome there, you know?
Yeah, because I didn't go back because... I like not because I didn't want to, but it was just con crunch season. So you know, and I'm a cosplayer, so I was busy. But yeah, when I went back, it was like no time had passed. It was like it was like Cheers.
Yeah,
you know.
But no, like I have made a lot of really, really good friends. One of the guys at the local game store we play with, he actually was listening to this, and he sold me his Kefnet because I was talking about wanting the Masterpiece one, and I was so excited that somebody like had it and stuff. It just is a good community, and when you welcome new players, get more people out into it, there's more people to interact with.
You're only making your community better.
Yeah, lots of people are more than happy to help you build decks, give you some tips on how they would do it. You don't have to take all of the advice, but I don't think anyone's going to be mean when you're out playing.
Heck no. Well, that's like even you guys play with that kid pretty regularly. There's this like 10-year-old, and he just always comes out and plays, and he's like excited to learn, and it's cute and it's fun and whatever, you know? Yeah,
and he's out, he's laughing, having a good time.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of our play group is mid-20s to 40s kind of.
Yeah, I would say late 20s to late 30s.
Yeah, but there's it's just kind of interesting to see like this little kid come out. He comes and plays, like his parents.
He rocks it.
Feel fine, like leaving him at the game store. Like,
yeah, because he trusts us.
Yeah, they came and they talked to the owner, and they're like, hey, is it okay? Like, do we need to stay and supervise? Like, it is just a game that's really, and I can't stress it enough, it is for everyone.
Yeah.
There is something for everyone and every play style, and there's not a right or wrong way to play.
There's certainly no age limit.
Yeah, you come to have fun and stuff. That's the end of the day, it is that. And like I said, maybe you have a roommate, maybe you have that, maybe you just want to get a few more games in during the week. Maybe you want to have a friend that you think is... Because Commander's not just a game, it's also a social experience.
Yeah.
You're out, you're with people, and maybe you think like, hey, like this guy would really like to come out, laugh around with us, joke around with us.
Out.
He's got a good sense of humor and stuff. Because like I don't play with anyone specifically because they're really good.
No.
And I don't play with anyone just because I'm like, I can beat these guys, so I don't feel good about myself. Like I go because I just like to laugh and joke around with the people that I play with. Like I just look forward to seeing them. We sit, we talk, and no one's worried about like the real life problems when they're out playing, you know? Like,
I would say 9 times out of 10 when I go out, I'm not going out because I think I'm going to win. I'm going out because I want to just honestly usually just mess with my friends and do it for the memes.
Yeah, it's a great time to unwind, and it's very funny to just do things like out of the blue in games like that may not win you the game but are hilarious.
Yeah, like when I do 39 damage to you.
Yeah, sometimes you've got to do it to them.
Sometimes it's not about winning, it's about sending a message.
Yeah, I was playing. I just made a deck, and I had nothing on deck, and then suddenly I had 13 zombies on deck with what's the Endless Ranks of the Dead out,
Yeah.
and everyone's like, "Oh, okay, cool."
I tapped everything to attack you, and I'm just like, you're just like, but I'll kill you next turn. I'm like, I don't do it. I dare you, coward.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. So.
But yeah, that's just in general. It's just a fun game. You want to introduce people as much as you can to it. There's never not a good time to get people into Magic. I am going to make that Golos deck. I'll just make an introductory Golos deck. I will post the link, as well as post it in like the Discord. But I'll make sure that it's an accessible list to everyone. If they ever want to show people, I think Golos is a great budget commander deck to get into it because it's so easy to upgrade. It's 5 colors. You can put any spell you want in it.
Yeah, anything.
It land ramps hard and
yeah.
That's my project for the week.
All right, I love that.
But yeah, like I said, just a little bit of a shorter episode today. It's snowy out for everyone, and the weather's bad. And
just touch on something a little bit close to my heart. So with that in mind, guys, please reach out to us on our social media, Facebook, Instagram, Discord, and we want to hear what you think. Are you a new player? Are you experienced? Have you introduced a bunch of friends to Magic the Gathering, or maybe are you inspired to now?
Yeah, let us know kind of how you get players into it. Maybe even your own story. Like, feel free to message us and tell us how you got into it. What introduced you to Magic?
I specifically really want to hear those because that makes me super happy. So,
thank you guys so much for listening. Remember, you can check us out pretty much anywhere podcasts are available.
And we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.